This is another quick catch up for y'all on our 66 Volkswagen. This epic journey continues. If you're halfway enjoying or just a little bit enjoying these videos, please hit the subscribe button on my YouTube there and help me out a little bit. I showed some of you, or some of you saw yesterday, where I had done a small spot. I think it was right there on this rear fender. Yesterday, it's been wet sanded and all that, and hadn't been compounded at all. And I had changed compounds. I had switched from that old McGuire stuff I showed you before. I had ordered supposedly some better stuff. This stuff right here, you can't buy it in town, I don't think. I've never seen it. You'll have to order it, which I did, and I'll tell you, people, the difference was pretty much night and day. I'll show you that in a minute. Of course, before you start working on a panel, you should always clean it off, make sure any residual chemicals or products that are on there are gone before you start buffing or anything like that. What I use is just because I do, is this stuff right here. There's lots of them out there. Most of them are pretty good. This is just what I use for no particular reason. You can buy smaller containers than this. This one's 32 ounces. In town, usually at O'Reilly's or one of your parts places. I order this because I can get it in a larger quantity, and it just makes more sense for me because I blow through so much of it. You could also use, under certain circumstances, your solution of isopropyl alcohol and distilled water as a paint prep, which I do at times. But I've always been taught a 50-50% mixture. Now, recently, I saw a video doing some of my research where the man at Apex Detail, who also has a chemistry background, I believe, but has been to many schools and analyzes this stuff, he said it should be about 20% or so alcohol to distilled water. So I'm adjusted my mixture, and I use it that way sometimes. Now, I spent many hours going from there down to there, and it has improved it dramatically. One exception is this area right here on the other side of the tail light. I cannot get that to go away. I cannot. And sometimes on these older vehicles with old cheap paint jobs, or good paint jobs for that matter, you just can't chase perfection. I may or may not come back to that at a later time and try to improve that to some degree. I had to get my nano polisher out, just a little polisher, has backing plate about that big around, maybe an inch and a half, so I could get in there and do some more work, because my regular buffer won't fit in there, obviously. Now, back to the engine cover. Kind of see a half and half here. I spent the rest of the day on this half of it yesterday using that product that I just showed you. And I'll show you the buffer and the pad that I use, which is a Lake Country synthetic wool pad. It's a cutting pad. And the other side I had previously done with that McGuire's 105, I believe it was, the old school stuff. I had done that side with a regular wool cutting pad. As you can see, that's what that had done. This new stuff with that synthetic pad took it to that level. Maybe not a fair comparison, because this side had already been done with the McGuire's, and then we did it again with the other, so I'm not sure that's totally fair. But that withsonax I just showed you has a much longer working time. It barely dust at all. And it just seems to do a better job than the Meguiar's. So I'm going to stick with that probably from now on. But we're going to get started here in a few minutes doing this side again. And probably we've come all the way down. We've done this all the way down the side, the roof, the hood. I'll probably hit all that again quickly. I've done that right there with the 105. We'll see if we can improve that somewhat with this new product and this new pad. So still a lot of work to go, folks. A lot of work to go. And the rest of this passenger side here, got to do some more work on that. Has all been wet sanded. That's all that's been done to it. And it's been cleaned a couple times, but all the dusting from Meguiar's has just made a big mess in here in my garage and all over this car. So it's going to have to be washed again at some point. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to wash this car. But just a quick catch up showing y'all. I'm pretty pleased with 95% of that right there. And I'm hoping the rest of the car will come to that level. And then I'm going to have to do, or I will do, when I finish with the compounding, a quick polish with a medium pad and an all-in-one, probably the HD 345 product. And after that, I'll paint prep it, of course. And then I think what I'm going to do is try some old school Meguiar's product. Again, I'll show you that when I get to it. That is made specifically for reconditioning old paint. And what I'll do is I'll put that on a panel, maybe a fender or something like that. The downside to it is for it to work effectively, you apply it and then you have to let it remain there overnight before you take it off. Although the directions say you can do it quicker than that, but you just get more of a conditioning effect if you leave it on there longer. So we'll try that, see how that comes out, and then on another smaller test panel, maybe something like that, just a little bit smaller. I'm not sure what I'll try it on. I'm going to try my ceramic coating and see which one is best or if there is any difference. Sometimes the ceramic coating will magnify what paint defects you have. But we'll see. I'm going to test them, and then whichever one is better, or I may just divide an area like this. Do the ceramic coating on the right and the old Meguiar stuff on the left, which is a product they formulated in 1935, I believe it was, for single stage paint. And the formula has never changed in all these years. So it's made to condition raw paint, which is pretty much what this is. I don't know if there's clear coat there or not. I've give up on trying to figure out what kind of paint this is. But just catching y'all up, the saga continues, you guys. Catch you later.